There's nothing more I could do than to show you what Mount Pleasant is really like by showing you images and videos and talking to you about why people stay here in Mount Pleasant, why it's always like, hey, let's come back. I've moved away and I've always ended up coming back. Mount Pleasant is my home. Even places like Detroit, I lived near, and it just didn't add up to how it was growing up here in Mount Pleasant. Every single one of these photos that you have just seen was taken at either Nelson Park or Island Park. As you can see, I was really into selfies. I got my first phone camera in 2013, maybe. My video camera stuff was from 2012. And it just really shows the real me and why I love living here. What I would be doing if you saw me out. The next set of photos are photos from my school experiences, West Intermediate and Mount Pleasant High School, and I no longer go to these schools, so I'm not really giving out any information about where I'm going to school, so we're okay there. But I actually had my best time at West Intermediate, and that was mainly because I made a lot of friends, which I'm not including other people in this recording of my photos. But for some reason, I did not have as good a time at Mount Pleasant High School as I did West Intermediate. I'm not really sure why. It might have been a mixture of the fact that it was my 7th grade school mixed in with my 8th grade school. It could have been the fact that maybe it's just a larger school, and high schools are just harder to get along in a lot of the time. And so I just felt that it was not my place to stay there. And I don't go there anymore, but I did have a great time at both of those schools, and I highly applaud Mount Pleasant and public schools for doing whatever they're doing, because they definitely have a lot of success in their school systems. But it's also home to many, many other people. I think it's close to 23,000 maybe. And Central Michigan University is located here in Mount Pleasant. Helps citizens with many different events. I know the high school was actually involved with Central Michigan University quite a few times. I'm not really sure. I was a freshman, and so I don't know much about that. I know in 7th grade I went on a campus tour of CMU. I think they were trying to get people interested in Central at a young age, which some people want to stay in Mount Pleasant and go to Central. Others want to go to a different college. It just depends on the person. I think the state started figuring that Mount Pleasant was the center of the state, the actual center of the state, so things started moving up here, and you just kept seeing things get busier and busier. Mission and Pickard are the two main roads here in Mount Pleasant, and I find myself basing everything off of which side of Mission I'm on, and I think that's mostly because I spend a lot of time on the west side of Mission, west side of Mount Pleasant. Um, so it's really different. You're basing it off of not only how the life is in Mount Pleasant, but you're also having all of these different diverse cultures, diverse people, and in a lot of ways I found that not only was the high school very accepting of the LGBT group, but you also had many different acceptings of Native Americans, the Chippewa Indians, very diverse here. And you just find so many people that are so accepting. And yeah, sometimes you come across people who aren't as accepting as they should be. But all in all, this community is a great community. I don't think I see myself leaving unless I genuinely have to. And so I know definitely for the rest of my high school I will be here. And I really, really will never ever lose sight of growing up in Mount Pleasant, because growing up in Mount Pleasant was just the greatest thing ever, even if it was chopped up into bits, since I didn't live here 24/7 for all of my life. Um, so I hope you guys have a greater view of what Mount Pleasant is, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!